Should we go straight into it?
Let's get right into it, my G.
All right, this is a discussion that we've been having for a while now.
Which one? We've been having a lot of discussions.
That's right. This one in particular
Yeah.
is, the Pop Smoke Meet the Woo 2 just came out. Would you say it's fresh?
No, they've been doing this music in the UK for years.
That's my point, man.
Yeah.
Grime, but no one in America wants to call it grime.
No, the motherfuckers in America don't like the accent, and that shit bothers me.
They don't like the mandem.
No.
No, bruh.
No, bro, flight.
We're going to butcher the fuck out of this.
I know. Motherfuckers in the UK are going to watch this and be triggered.
If we have like one UK fan, that would be quite amazing.
That'd be dope. Shout out. Leave a comment if you're from the UK.
All right. So is grime spreading to America? That's the topic of discussion today.
So what are your thoughts?
I would say yes, but it's not going to be labeled grime.
Oh, okay. Do you have let's coin it right now.
It's going to be called drill.
Yeah, it's definitely among that tree of music. Now, it started out in BK.
It did start out in Brooklyn.
Okay.
Right? So the first guy that comes to mind who took that Chicago type sound in New York is a dude from Brownsville.
Okay.
You know who I'm talking about?
Pop Smoke.
No. Bobby Shmurda.
Ooh.
Bobby Shmurda.
Okay.
And
Talk about
so, I mean, we all know how big his main song went. And is this the thing? Is this the thing where we can't say the N word? So how do you say it? Hot boy?
Hot N.
Hot N.
I like hot N.
Hot N. So we're both of us are Asian.
Or hot brother.
Hot brother. Hot Jigga. How about that?
Too close. I mean, Rich Chigga had to change his name because that was
right.
problematic.
All right. So I think when he first came into the scene, everyone thought he was from Chicago. Right.
Bobby Shmurda? Okay.
Bobby Shmurda.
Okay.
Right. But then it was the dude's from New York, and he reps New York hard, and he had New York in his videos. And that was the beginning of what we would call the New York drill scene. I would say.
Okay. Do you think there was any New York predecessor before that?
Well, New York has always been just like hardcore rap type of place, right? So if we go back to the 90s, particularly, like you look at what came out of the West Coast, it was the G-Funk type sound, right? It was the Nate Dogg's.
Okay.
It was the Snoop Dogg's.
Yeah.
It was the Dog Pound. It was every kind of dog there was, right? There were no cats involved.
Yeah.
So, but then when we went to New York, that's where all the cats were.
Okay.
You see what I mean? That's where all the hardcore Wu-Tang, Big L type shit was coming out. And so there's definitely a big difference in just the energy and the vibe of those two regions of like the West Coast versus New York. And Chicago never really had that, identity of, is it a hard place or is it a smooth place? And I think what we've come to realize is it's a little bit of both, but definitely within the 2010s, it became a more aggressive place, the most aggressive place, probably just because of the murder rates and everything going on there, right? So then came the migration to New York.
Yeah.
Because New York didn't really have an identity for so long. Like they were all over the place. They had the Underachievers, they had Joey Badass, they had ASAP crew going on. I mean, and I think right now what we're seeing in Brooklyn is the resurgence of grime type production on top of drill style music videos and rapping. But I think because of all these new UK producers that are coming out and wanting to produce for American talent, that we're seeing the rise of New York drill. But I would say it's definitely more towards grime. But we'll see, man. Because grime production now is more based off of drill. It's not what it was when it first came out, right?
Yeah, well, so let's define drill. I think, because we've thrown that word out many times in just this one conversation. So I think let's define what drill is. And when you say drill, I think of Young Chop style production. And so when I hear this new production, like the Axel beats,
yeah,
I get the same feeling, but it doesn't sound the same. But I get the same feeling, and that's what I think about when you say drill, grime. So are we on the same page with that?
Hmm. I want to figure out when the time came, when that transition came, when grime went from this like very housey, fast paced type,
Garage.
the garage type shit to
Mm,
what it is now, which is it became so much more like low, like steady type of 808s on top
hmm.
of trap cymbals and trap
Yeah,
snares.
because let's think about the UK for a moment. So Stormzy's "Shut Up," you remember that?
Right,
And that was more so on the um the garagey kind of sound, I
right.
would think, right?
Like the original Dizzy Rascal albums that
Mm,
came out, like they don't sound. That's not what grime sounds like today.
for sure. But even Axel Beats is from Canada, right?
Dude, do you know where he's? I thought he was from the UK.
Let's check that.
All right, we're gonna
Fact
do
check.
this. He is from.
I'm gonna
He's
say
a British
Canada.
producer from London.
Oh, okay, for
That's
sure.
what I said. And what Axel Beats is doing right now is he decided to work with a bunch of New York rappers like 504 and Pop Smoke,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so what's going on is that it's basically becoming imported.
Ooh,
Grime type production is becoming the mainstay
yeah.
in American New York hip hop.
You know what though? Most American rap listeners,
Right.
we're not even gonna. They're not gonna catch that or even care about the production that it coming from the UK. It's still just gonna be. I don't think they're gonna get any credit.
Well, I think a lot of things changed when Drake kind of made his homage to the UK, right? Like he went out there. You saw how crazy the show was when he interrupted Skepta's live performance
Mm,
with Jumpman, and you saw like the type of response that they got. And then in 2017, I think that was kind of like Drake's year where he put out more life and he started having like Georgia Smith and Gigs and Sampha and who else was on there? Definitely Skepta.
mhm,
So like I mean everyone knows how hard like Galchester
mhm.
or what's the other one? The KMT joint
Yeah.
that XXX Tentacion said it was a ripoff.
Hmm.
Right.
Was that the Batman? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Right.
Yeah.
Dun
Okay.
dun 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 dun
OVOSM1.
dun 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 dun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm with you. So let's go back to the question: is grime spreading to America?
Well, it already is. It is
Yeah.
right now.
It's here. And my issue is that I don't think the UK is really gonna receive any credit from this.
Mm.
You know, because at this point right now, London artists or anybody from the UK, they're not really. They don't. I don't think they care about the US market anymore. I don't think they care about trying to get into our market. They've really made their own market. So, I mean, that's my big concern. I do want to give credit to where it's due, but I feel like in this wave, we're just gonna take it and run with it, and no head nods are gonna be towards anybody in the UK. I mean, Pop Smoke already has a Skepta remix
Right.
for Dior, I think. But
Right.
even then, I mean, that's a small moment. I just hope that that the UK gets credit for this sound here.
I think they will, man.
I
But I
hope
don't
so.
think anyone's gonna go back and listen to like any Dizzy Rascals or
Yeah.
any Wretch or any who are some other big artists in the UK. Uh, what you got?
No, I don't have anybody right now. But I do. I mean, another part of this question too is, I mean, how long do you think this sound is going to last in America? I'm sure it's going to be in the UK for a minute. They did create it, but even then, it's still just a movement right now.
I
Rich the
mean,
Kid is on the bounce.
right.
Pop Smoke is on the bounce, and Rich the Kid is Atlanta.
Rich the Kid is Atlanta, I believe.
So we got New York artists on it. We got a Southern artist on it. Are we gonna hear Future on this bounce anytime soon?
Maybe, man. I mean, we've seen Future hop on the Latino joints. You know what I mean? You know that one he made with the Brazilian artist?
Bro, I didn't hear it.
Dun.
I didn't hear it, man.
No, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, another thing is that Americans, we just don't listen to, like, you play an American Tiny Tempa.
Yeah.
You play them Wiley. You play them Lethal Bizzle. It's not, they're not into it.
Dude, even gigs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Gigs is the one that, to me, it's like, if there's anybody that's crossed that bridge between American trap style production and the UK grime scene, it's Gigs. Because he has songs with 2 Chainz. He has songs with Young Thug.
Yeah, but that's an artist to artist thing, man. I'm really talking about most casual listeners. They really don't. They could care less about the any UK artist collabing with an American artist. They're still not going to listen to their individual work. You know, that's how I feel. That's the sense that I get from a casual American listener, even if the production is American. You know,
Right.
Just American trap, right? I don't think our ears are ready for that.
You know what it is?
What?
They don't do triplets out there.
They can't. No, I mean, let me think.
They don't do triplets.
They don't, and I respect that, man. But I mean, they have their own,
and they're way more fast paced in the delivery.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right.
Maybe that's why the Americans don't like it. They need the triplet flow. They need the da na 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 da na 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 da na 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 na.
You're right.
Yeah. And the UK guys are more like dun 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 dun. You know, they're not as much on the la 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 la. Boom, 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 boom.
Yo, man, never been like.
But I will say this, man.
Yeah.
The Man's Not Hot. You know what? That shit,
bro,
was highly influential because a lot of Americans never heard that shit before.
Yo, that song's the gateway. I mean, as old as it is, it's the gateway because even people I know that's the only UK track that American artists that I know. I mean, no, that American listeners refer to when it comes to the UK. That's like their only thing. So I think if more UK sounds were to, be listened to in America, it would have to fall within that range. But even then, it's more of a parody. Even Americans know it's a parody. So I don't even think we take UK artists seriously. I mean, you've seen the memes.
For sure, but I think a lot of Americans, because they didn't... What's the dude's name who made that? The Man's Not Hot?
Big Shaq.
Big Shaq, right?
Michael Dapper.
Okay, the UK guys know Michael Dapper is a comedian.
Yeah.
In America, we didn't know he was a comedian. We straight up thought Man's Not Hot was a real freestyle.
Well, I've been watching what's happening over there like maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So when he came out, I knew exactly what it was because even before him, there was the I forgot that fool's name. You know that meme of that dude that's like, think about it?
Yeah.
You know, maybe. But because in the UK they like to do mockumentary type joints, and so
it's the style of humor.
Yeah, and so naturally you got people that mock the grime lifestyle. But yeah, I mean, we were fooled by it generally in America.
Right.
And so because of that, I think that's also a big part why people don't take it seriously over here. I don't even thinking about it now, that might not even be a real gateway. I think Skepta would have been the real gateway. I mean, he's the waviest in my opinion.
Right. And Skepta is the biggest grime artist in the world, and so pretty much everyone in... See, when you talk to an American and you mention that you like Skepta, it's like, oh, okay. Yeah, I heard the Konnichiwa album.
Mm-hmm.
No problems. Sounds cool. When you go to a UK dude, you just meet a British dude off the street in America and you say you fuck with Skepta, the guy goes nuts.
Yeah.
It's like Skepta's like, I don't know, they're fucking Tupac or something.
Yeah. Well, I think a big part of it too is, I would think, the lyrical content.
Okay.
With Pop Smoke, right? He's gonna naturally appeal to New Yorkers, both in accent. He looks and sounds like a New Yorker.
He wears the chains. The UK guys, they're in just jumpsuits.
Yeah, they're in tracksuits, you know?
Rock.
And so that look is not going to really appeal to us. We were dressing like that in the 80s in New York. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
that's like the Run DMC
Yeah.
motherfuckers were dressed like that back in the day.
So I really don't think grime, UK grime, is going to spread in America. I don't think so. Not one bit. We're not going to take their voice seriously. We're not going to take their look seriously.
Wow.
And I don't, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't really be talking about shooting in the UK.
Nah, I still don't even. I think lyrically they're a little bit more underdeveloped than the Americans.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, we're going to have this conversation at one point.
Right.
Lyrics, they don't matter. They
Yeah.
don't fucking matter, bro. So it's like,
I mean, Jamie, like you listen to a Jamie track and like, you know, half the time he's just talking about being a vegan. How he doesn't consume meat and how it's like, it's just like Americans would never rap about that. I mean, unless you were, I've never heard of one, but a vegan rapper.
Just real quick recap on, is grime, UK grime, going to spread to America?
Yes.
Yeah.
But it won't be under the umbrella of UK. I think that grime they won't call it grime and they won't call it drill. They'll just call it rap. It'll be a type of production in rap just because like there's so many different types of productions within rap music to begin with, right? You can't really classify everything as rap. Like we listen to J. Cole, we call that hip hop. We listen to Lil Baby, we call that hip hop, right? So
yeah,
it'll be the same thing.
I think the conversation of will grime spread to America and the lyrical conversation, I think they're closely tied just because, you know, if you say that lyrics don't matter, then UK grime will spread. But I do think we're really in a weird gray area where we do kind of care as long as it's familiar. But whatever they're talking about over there, I don't think is really familiar with what's going on in New York or Atlanta.
I dare say that it's not as violent out there. I dare say, even in the worst parts.
I mean, Stormzy, he wore a stab-proof vest as opposed to 50.
Right.
Wearing
Who wore a
bulletproof
bulletproof vest.
Right.
Right.
That's violent as hell. I'd rather get shot than stabbed. I promise you that.
I'd rather get shot than stabbed. I think it depends on where they're shooting and where they're stabbing.
I don't know. I'm queasy when it comes to, stabbing and slicing, but that's just me.
But that's another thing is that New York has the reputation of the stabbings. Just because it's very hard to get firearms out there.
That part, yeah.
They're known as the place that people stab you in the metro stations. Whereas you go to LA, it's just all gun violence. You go to Chicago, it's all gun violence. But in New York, like, having a firearm is so difficult to attain.
What's up, y'all? Lizzie Baby. Thank you for watching Rap Geeks. If you enjoyed this conversation, go click any of the other videos we got popping on the left and the right. Thank you and good night.